Alright, this is my MWA number 1, Rhetorical Analysis, and I will be going over Alcoholism on the Navajo Reservation by Tyler Paul. Going forward into the next slide, I have provided my article of choice, which is the progression of alcohol-related problems in a Navajo sample. And this basically just one big study that was conducted on various Navajo natives, and it just went to show how many of them depended on alcohol and just really how much they depended on it just to get them through life. And there's about seven seven pages of this, the last page being a reference page, but there's about 7 pages of it, and it's very interesting, and I believe it will show my argument. To begin this rhetorical analysis on how alcoholism has taken its toll on the reservation, we shall dive deeper into what exactly caused this, record data on how alcohol has made its presence onto the Navajo Nation, and ways we can battle this epidemic. This problem has shaped its way into something much more impactful, something that has stripped away the cultural values of us Navajos. We have always seen this substance as a sort of impurity within our culture. I know some natives have seen alcohol as a sort of way out from the hardships Navajos can face in their local communities. Things like finding a sort of income, a job can be really challenging. I know a lot of people who have been let off of work just so their employers can cut costs and save money. I've been in that pool of frustration, and that endless cycle of being let go and out finding a job again. Point being is that when that happens, most people find an outlet to let out these frustrations. This outlet being getting drunk and letting the alcohol eat away their sorrows. I can't understand why people do this, but it is not the way we should be taking care of these problems that can be easily fixed. To evaluate on this, take a look at Kamala L. Verner and William R. Miller's article and study, Progression of Alcohol Problems in a Navajo Sample, where they both develop an argument as to how bad alcohol has taken its place in the average Navajo and its progression through the years. I'd like to start on how pathos has had its presence made on this study as well as the article included. Both authors have found out that the average Navajo has felt bad about drinking. This will result in either a tolerance break or just feeling ashamed of what alcohol has done in their lives. As they just outright quit drinking for a while, pity is shown throughout this study, and what both Werner and Miller find is that there is a moral difference when more alcohol is consumed. The more alcohol that is consumed will change a person's demeanor, but the effects after that initial buzz will be more substantial. Another rhetorical appeal that I have found is ethos. Ethos can be applied by showing Verna and Miller's credibility through their own findings in this study. Both are very much credited for the work, as well as the work that has been done within the study. The effort that has been brought forward to get the needed results have been substantial, and the results found are going to be of much use in the near future. The next appeal that I have found is logos, which is how the piece has had its impact on the audience or readers of this article. Readers should very much find this article interesting as it has provided key details as to how alcohol affects the average Navajo. The findings should satisfy the reader's need to explain how the Navajo thinks when to have consumed alcohol. Werner and Miller have presented this as a study that underwent a certain number of Navajos. This ranged from occasional drinkers to alcoholics. Some of the study subjects also had some sort of mental challenges, and so both study experts have taken this into account when conducting these studies. Reasons for this argument is so we can have a better understanding of how alcohol affects the minds of Navajo men and women. We can also have a better in-depth explanation as to why many of these Navajos take advantage of alcohol the way they do. Details that were found also was that the first consumption of alcohol was during the age of 16. This is a very young age, and I can see why many Navajos struggle with alcohol-related problems. This also shows me that alcohol is very easily obtainable at 16. It's still considered a person's teen years. For some people who were this young tell me that their parents had this substance and weren't responsible. This or alcohol dealers weren't too keen on who they were selling their products to. Nonetheless, this is still a very huge issue that continues to affect those who are unfortunate enough to succumb to alcohol and its mental/physical effects. To conclude, alcohol has had very real repercussions on the average Navajo, and this study/article has provided key evidence as to why and how this has happened for years. Okay, now that we have finished the article discussion, I would like to go on to my SLOs or my student learning outcomes. So number one being is what is the purpose of the project you created and how do you think the piece achieves its purpose? So I believe the purpose of the project I have created is to inform the audience of the substantial impact alcohol has had on the Navajo population. Readers of my piece will be informed of studies that have been conducted by Verner and Miller. These studies included various Native subjects being tested for their alcohol-related issues, things like giving them alcohol to drink and to see its effects, and other more challenging options, like making them quit drinking alcohol altogether and see how they cope with it. I think the piece achieves its purpose by providing great detail as to why natives, preferably Navajos, have such a tough time dealing with alcohol addiction. My purpose is also reached as I have addressed how much alcohol has taken its toll on different natives of different genders and some age differences. All in all, I think this is a great subject to touch up upon and that this issue is once solved in the future. SLO number two. Who is the audience? How did this impact your choice of medium? In other words, why is the medium the best choice for your audience and purpose? The audience of my project are those who seek the answers needed as to why Navajos have long struggled with alcohol-related issues. Readers/viewers of my piece should be well informed of the topic I have covered in this MWA, and it shall be one that will remain in that person's head for time come. My audience didn't impact my choice of medium whatsoever, as I feel it being presented as a slideshow that has a voiceover will be more visually stimulating to my audience. I believe my point is made a lot clearer when presented with a slideshow. It's a lot easier to take in a video. I shall be doing a video in the future MWA, so I thought taking the voiceover slideshow will be easier for me to get my point across. It is also good for the purpose as I can explain it more and more as it progresses a lot easier. Third and final student learning outcome. What were the impressions of the technology you chose to compose with for this project? How did they complement what you created? I think composing this on my laptop using the application PowerPoint was a great way to go about it. I could easily record my voice and control it all through this one application. I also found it very easy to get all my information into different slides that I can explain when I do my voiceover. Overall, it is very convenient that PowerPoint can do all of these things and me not having to go out of my way to a different application only for Microsoft PowerPoint being my go-to whenever I need an assignment/project turned in. They complemented what I have created as I believe my voice will have more of an impact on my audience. I could say things with passion and drive rather than just being by itself. The voiceover aspect of this whole project will really make it become what I've wanted it to be. And that is my first MWA. I would like to thank you for your time and I hope you have a great day.